Hello everybody. I'm just making this video this evening while this topic is in my mind. It's something that I think about a lot, but it came to my mind again this evening and I thought I'd just make a short video, and it relates to, again, this idea, this topic of what does it mean to be feminine and practice law? What does it mean to practice from the heart? And often when I consider this subject, when I think about this, I suppose I have a few people that come to mind, but two particular experiences that were very meaningful for me. I think they just really impacted me deeply, although subtly. I just realize now that they were meaningful experiences. And the first was, a good few years ago now, through a common friend, a dear friend, Kim Wright. I met a Dutch lawyer called Digna de Bruin, and Digna had opened her own office and practicing as a conscious lawyer, conscious practitioner, specialising in conscious contracts. And so I was meeting her, to talk about that subject, and I was in the process of setting up a magazine called The Conscious Lawyer, and I was meeting her in that context. But I'll never forget just the day that I met her and the place I met her in, which was where she works, her own office. And there was a long laneway leading up to it. It was out in the countryside, very green, very peaceful, lots of big trees, and a beautiful office in a small house. And the whole idea that this was a law office, was just so beautiful, because it just was not what you would typically expect from a law office. I remember a lot of, white on the walls, but just art everywhere. And Digna herself, was just this beautiful spirit, beautiful feminine spirit, very free, very peaceful. And she spoke to me about setting up the office and how she'd wanted to do it in a different way. And she made me tea, and we drank the tea outside under the trees. And I think she was telling me then that she often, brings her clients out there and they sit under the trees and drink tea and talk about the case, whatever she might be dealing with. And that experience, especially recently, has come back to me when I think about this idea of a feminine dimension in law, and what is a feminine voice in law, what is a heart-based lawyer. That experiential kind of feeling is often what comes to me. And another really impactful experience was meeting Polly Higgins, who was the late amazing Earth lawyer who passed away in 2019, who was pivotal, obviously, in setting up Stop Ecocide, and in moving forward the campaign to have ecocide made the fifth crime against humanity. I hope I've got that right, fifth crime. So meeting Polly Higgins, like a very similar experiential feeling. I met her in what she called her heart quarters in Stroud, beautiful open space. Obviously this is where they were doing a lot of work around Stop Ecocide. So maybe you wouldn't call it a typical law office where she was meeting clients or anything, but still, she was a very renowned Earth lawyer, and she spoke to me about the difference in her approach to law, and also her work environment, and the fact that they had different practices. I don't think everyone did a very typical spiritual practice or anything like that, but it was just it was a space that was infused with a sense of peace, of lightness, of kindness, of laughter, and of, absolutely serious work. Like, it's not to say that the work that is done is not serious and really important, but it was soft and open and expansive and welcoming. And it's just so striking, I think, that those qualities are almost the opposite of what we might typically associate with a typical law office, which feels very formal, firm, rigid, maybe a little bit stuffy often, uniform in terms of colour schemes and clothing, serious, formalistic, and professional, as opposed to natural. Not to say that there isn't a professional side to Digna's or Digna or Polly's practice, of course. That's what I'm saying, that it was, hugely important work that they were doing. Anyway, I think I, made the point. So yeah, I thought these are really important experiences for me in terms of just imagining what a feminine law practice might look like and feel like. Thank you for listening.